the first to know in Nsem-Pii TV.
For Godfred Yeboah Dame, the former Attorney General. You need to say on also a battle for his life at the police CID over the petition filed by Richard Jakpa. Na yebe kind so as a petitioner Richard Jakpa edeko to police CID no. Daniel Ofori Atta also filed the same petition qualify for investigation into alleged misconduct by Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi. Qualify for his removal from Supreme Court bench. Good. Na enra Richard Jakpa the petition no CID etonsa efre former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dame okoy. Now right after Godfred Yeboah Dame's interrogation with the CID is also invite Daniel Ofori Atta no all qualify for investigation into misconduct by Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi no. Say unfunny evidence ampa ebemi who say Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi engaged himself in misconduct regarding the ambulance trial. Ewa brekwana ni nephew Richard Jakpa ejina court alongside the current finance minister Keiso Atofos and then time the majority leader. Na sisi amene say Godfred Yeboah Dame sa evidence na CID regarding that conversation between Onone Richard Jakpa no. Daniel Ofori Atta etimi provided all the documents and was submitted to a police CID. So as it stands now, Godfred Yeboah Dame ye vindicating. Ama sisi amne say Richard Jakpa any Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi omo ho ebetimi akere wo. Justice Yoni Kulendi ye call for his removal because emrana in one fast Richard Jakpa ejina trial o interfere judicial proceedings no e wa bra eno no e undermine ye judiciary eno nti ana ye call for his removal. Na ene Daniel Ofori Atta no petition CID e call for investigation into misconduct now Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi no e den sem bi ababeto abonten yenye bre ni entie ni nsem na say all can.
We have a point there. I was expecting that, looking at the nature of the allegation, without having also in mind the fact that these allegations are not new, the police CID could have perhaps gone to him to take statements from him and thereafter do their investigations. At this understanding, he was invited and he honored the invitation. He's a law-abiding citizen. And being a law-abiding citizen, you cannot say that you are not going to honor an invitation from the police CID. We went there yesterday, and he was also treated with all the respect that he deserves as a former minister and also as a citizen of the land.
Now, would you say that Mr. Dame has authenticated the alleged audio recording of his conversation with Richard Jakpa, which formed the basis of this petition for which he had to respond to the CID?
There is no doubt that Godfred Dame had a telephone conversation with Jakpa in 2024. And that audio is public. That audio has been tendered in legal proceedings. That audio has been ruled upon by a court in Accra, High Court in Accra. And the specific allegation of fabrication of evidence has also been ruled upon by a High Court in Accra. And the ruling was that the judge made it clear in the ruling that she had listened to the audio not less than 10 times and found nothing in the audio indicating that the former AG was trying to convince Jakpa to fabricate evidence. And so we have no problem with the audio. We've listened to it. The court has listened to it. The court has given ruling of finding on the audio. And so we are not in any way disturbed.
Wow. Now, does this smack of political witch hunting? Or this is necessary?
I will not rule that one out.
But would you also say that this may be a legal inquiry?
I think that this matter has been brought up at this time by Jakpa because of his personal dislike for Godfrey Dame, and perhaps to divert attention and also let the ruling government know that he's also someone who can get the former AG appear before a CID for investigations. Aside from this, I see no basis in this particular petition to the CID. It is rather frivolous.
Now, what do you think is going to be the next steps for the CID after Mr. Dame presented a very well written statement in his defense?
We expect the CID to do their investigations if they want to go further and get back to us. And so, as and when the former AG is invited, you honor that invitation. And so we are waiting.
I mean, one of the key things that is being alleged is that he procured a fake medical excuse to delay court proceedings, and that's something that, in the spirit of integrity and the office that he held, would not be one thing that I think would be looking at lightly. How does he respond to that accusation?
If you listen to the audio on that particular day, in fact, prior to that day, Jakpa was not well. And Jakpa had told the court prior to that date that he was not well. Now, on the 9th of August, Jakpa was not represented. In fact, he had no lawyer as at the time that he engaged Godfrey Dame. And on that particular date, Jakpa had indicated that he was not well, but after the conversation, the former AG got to know that Jakpa had engaged new counsel. And that new counsel reached out to the former AG and also confirmed that his client wasn't well and that they were going to court to take a date based on his health status. And so it wasn't as if he suggested I go and procure certificate, medical certificate, and then bring it to court. No. That was the situation. And when they went to court, his new lawyer went with the prosecutors to the judge's chamber, and that discussion was had, and then the case was adjourned.
Right. I mean, as a former Attorney General, do you see any ethical implications of these allegations?
In terms of ethics, already there is a petition pending at the General Legal Council. That which is also something public. And the former AG has responded to that petition. So that's it for it.
Okay.
Moving forward, we await the outcome of that petition also.
I believe that he would not just be answering to this, but I mean, there's also one of the things that is being challenged is his maintenance of, or his ensuring prosecutorial integrity and fairness when he was Attorney General. How would he respond to this, or how has he responded to that?
The former Attorney General discharged his prosecutorial powers with diligence and utmost integrity. Every single step that he took as an Attorney General in terms of his prosecutorial powers was done in accordance with law. And as his deputy, there wasn't any single moment that I saw that the former AG was trying to abuse his prosecutorial powers. He acted in accordance with law. He acted within the remit of his prosecutorial powers. And I do not think that he did anything untoward.
People on behalf of the states, and now he's on the other side of the law and invited by the CID for questioning. again, many have raised questions with the jurisdiction of the CID on this particular allegations that have been brought against the former Attorney General. Remember, Richard Jakpa is the third accused in the famous ambulance trial, and he is alleging that there was some justice obstruction in that particular
obstruction to justice in that time, right?
in that particular case, and they felt that no, this is steeped in politics, it's politically motivated. Why did Jakpa, when the case was ongoing, couldn't bring this before the judge? Waited, now that he is he's at the national security, then brings the case. We have been speaking to lawyers here who say that, look, to begin with, the CID doesn't even have the power or the regalia to be able to handle this matter. If for anything at all, it should be the General Legal Counsel. This speaks to the heart of conduct of a lawyer. That there's something that...
I mean, so the General Legal Counsel, I believe, and Troyaba was mentioning that there is a complaint at the General Legal Counsel.
Absolutely.
I think that deals with the ethical issues. But could there not be a criminal exposure if indeed, the allegations that are being made, some of which, I mean, for example, to procure a fake medical report certainly should be tantamount to making a criminal.
The lawyers from the camp of the former Attorney General have been explaining, and not just them, we have independent lawyers who are saying that this doesn't amount to any criminal, cause for an investigation.
I see.
If anything at all, it should be the General Legal Counsel that should be, leading this case.
Right.
But it's currently at the CID, and I'm just interested to know the charges that would be preferred against the former Attorney General. And yesterday you saw the lawyers there in their numbers. It was symbolic. It tells you that, look, this was once a former Attorney General that had all the powers of the attorney behind him, and yesterday was a full representation of that. But going forward, I just feel that, look, if the Attorney General, and we are finding out if the Attorney General would want to, probe the petition that was brought before Richard Jakpa, the third accused. You know that a petition has been filed against him by Daniel Malfo Foriata for also, some untoward things he did in the ambulance trial. And we're learning that, look, this Attorney General cannot be committed to trying to investigate that matter that has been brought, because if again the CID forward the matter to the Attorney General for investigations to be done, Richard Jakpa is in this government. I want to say something. Pretty much like in bed with this administration.
I mean, he's an appointee of the president. He is a director of operations or special
and national security. And so it will be very difficult for the Attorney General to say that this is one of our own and we'll be able to prosecute him. But again, many said that this has nothing to do. It's much ado about nothing. These are all allegations. And Kweku, doesn't the timing of these allegations of this petition really strike you? I mean, why this time? And just a week after the petition against the former Attorney General, then we had the one against Richard Jakpa also coming. And I was like, the timing of these allegations. I mean, the ambulance trial was that you couldn't bring these allegations to the fore. Now you feel so. It's interesting. But I just hope that
everybody in this, all the stakeholders, are looking for maximum effect of their actions.
Right.
It's kind of difficult to not read political motivation in all of this, and this is because when you point to the timing of these things, it's as if, okay, so you throw one at us or at me, I'll also throw one at you, kind of situation where we're trying as much as possible to just equalize every chance that we get, and it's quite a disturbing situation.
But it's also commendable that at least, and that first question you asked, that he was able to honor the invitation of the CID. There are many who thought that, he's a law unto himself, he would not. But he was there yesterday.
Well, he didn't need to be there.
Why do you think
yesterday?
he need to be there?
No, he didn't need to be.
Like physically present?
Yeah, I mean,
Why?
you could because there's still options for you to actually simply write a statement and respond, in writing.
But this was a formal invitation that says that we want you here. So I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. It was formally written to him to appear before the CID.
Okay.
To appear before the CID. And so it's commendable that he appeared and said, "This is me. Any questions you have for me, let's do this deposition." Yesterday, I wanted to find out the nature of the deposition. He had the CID headquarters. What was the ambience around? I mean, those lawyers.
You would have paid anything to be a fly on the wall, but you were not there. You and I were not there.
You and I were not there. And it's. I mean, it's good for democracy. Let's test the laws. Let's find out which particular body has the, who is clothed with the power and regalia on this particular issue. And whether it's a general legal counsel. What's the general legal counsel saying in all of this? For instance, are they just,
Do you think a case like this would bring a spotlight and affect our confidence in Ghana's justice system?
I think the public confidence in the judiciary has wavered in a while. I mean, we have the Chief Justice removed, and many have raised questions with how pretty much they've described it's politically motivated. For some, it's witch hunts. Even though they say the president has followed through all the constitutional procedures that have been laid out for the removal of the Chief Justice. But given the complaints that the Chief Justice herself have come to the fore to say that, she wasn't treated fairly by the committee. And all these questions have been raised, and nobody seemed to bat an eyelid about these allegations. It's a bit worrying. It tells you that, look, again, there's some politics at play, and, that whole thing. So confidence in the judiciary has been wavered. Plus, we also have an Attorney General that is winning cases in the media space. So instead of prosecuting high-profile cases in real court, there is that concern that this Attorney General, Dominic Ayeni, is prosecuting high-profile cases in the media, which is undermining the judicial process. And indeed, there are calls on the president to relieve him of his duties to restore public confidence in the judiciary. And I think it's good that, if people are beginning to lose that confidence, and we are seeing sort of an attempt to prosecute previous opponents. If you look at some of the charges, or if you look at some of the claims, really, inshallah, frivolous, if you ask me. So it's very difficult. At the time, the judiciary at the moment going through, I don't know what to say, is going through its own phase. Well, the president says he's resetting, but resetting by targeting political opponents. That's what it seems like, targeting political opponents and trying to say that we're following through the procedure. We have bail conditions that are being used as punishments. The bail sum amounts, cost an arm and a leg. And bail is not supposed to be punitive. It's not supposed to be, so you're finding all of these issues playing out. And so, pretty much giving a dent on the democracy of this country. Let's hope and see how this pans out.
Well,